Very excited tonight, however, to share with you two amazing gentlemen to talk to you about sort of data insights, Power BI, business intelligence. And I think I'll pull back and say that I was, about 2 weeks ago, I went to a big thing for the universities, and the university guys were telling me, the professors of accountancy, were telling me that less and less accounting students are going through because they're reading the media that says robots are taking over the accounting jobs, so there's no point doing accounting. But to me, the robots are now doing the stupid stuff that smart people shouldn't have been doing in the first place. And this is now the exciting stuff. And these guys, Kevin and Cameron, are enabling us to do the really exciting stuff, the powerful stuff to really help our small business owners tell their stories and help them make useful and insightful decisions. So we are very lucky to have Cameron. He's flown in from Adelaide. He's brought freezing weather with us. We're suffering greatly. But we also have Kevin, who's a local Brisbane boy. He lives in Brisbane now.
There we go.
The accent might give it away, but not necessarily local Brisbane boy, but we do. So we're very excited to have them both speak tonight, and please feel free to ask relevant questions through the presentation if they're okay with that. But you can all, Kevin says, Cameron, you're okay with that? You can potentially have if you have specific issues-centric questions at the end about your own issues, ask them maybe afterwards. But if you've got general questions that will benefit the audience, please ask them. It's a very casual atmosphere. If your phone rings, jump up, move out of the room, okay? Anything else? Thank you very much. The stage is yours, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, everybody. So my name's Cam Rumatani, and this is Kev from Data Sites. And it's a privilege to be. I get to hold a beer while I'm presenting. So how good is that? This is great. And we're really excited to share with you about the movement in Power BI. I was just talking out there with a couple of you, and this statistic just popped up in my mind that 95% of Fortune 500 companies are using Power BI now in 4 years. I mean, that's unbelievable, the growth of Power BI. To be able to take 95% of the Fortune 500 in 4 years is just mesmerising. That's how dominant the growth is with this Power BI movement and what Microsoft is doing. So I'm really excited to see.
The really cool thing as well is that it's just as accessible to SMEs. I think that's the big thing when I started Data Sites 2 years ago. The main enabler is that PowerBI.com is free. Like, that's the bottom line. So the big corporates and your JOSOs, small businesses, using exactly the same tech, which is amazing.
So we're going to just, I'm going to be very dominant on talking about practice. Kev's going to talk more about like business in general as well.
Yeah.
I'm very keen on the practice accounting firms to be getting involved in the SME sector as a service. But we've got some examples of both, so don't feel like you're going to be left out either way. Okay. So to kick things off, Kev, did you want to just give yourself an introduction to everybody?
Sure. So by trade, I'm a software developer. Been working since 2002 in Microsoft technologies. I do have an Apple MacBook though, just to try to be cool. So majority of the career was in London, where I worked for a consultancy designing and building commodity trading applications for about a decade. Moved to Brisbane, as my wife says, married up to a Brisbaneite, about 3 years ago, and started Data Sites 2.5 years ago. And essentially what we do is we enable businesses to access their data. So we help them create data lakes, and then we work with them to create the visualizations, dashboards, reports that they want over the top of that. So sort of automation of data.
So I've been working in accounting for 12 years. I'm a chartered accountant, worked in mid-tier, small tier and commerce. And this chapter all came about because I was playing in Excel with consolidation and Excel hell. I'm sure you guys can all relate to Excel hell. I was sick of the data integrity issues, so I went in search of a better answer and found Power BI as a solution for that. And I love all this stuff. Like I was in BankLink, I was on the trial team for electronic working papers, I was offshoring to the Philippines, I was doing outsourcing of self-managed super. I just anything new in an accounting firm. I'm like, can I get on the trial team? Like, I just love it, and I really do think that this is just the next evolution in this data analytics movement. Power BI, it's just super powerful. So awesome to be here and share it with you. So, do you want to just run us through these quotes? So the first one is from Gartner. I was talking about this year. So business users or business analysts, that's you guys in the room as the accountants. You are the analysts. And we're actually going to surpass professional data scientists this year. That's how quickly the use case is picking up here, because the technology's got so good that it's quite intuitive to use. And the other one from Forbes,
Yeah, like the fact that we're at Chartered Accountants Meetup is a good start. At the end of the day, if you look at the clients that we're trying to bring on board, we only really want cloud-based accounting clients really at the end of the day. The reason being is that there's not just 1, 2, or 3 applications, as that stat is telling you now. Businesses now are starting to use 6, 7, 8 applications, which is fantastic. With that comes the problem though of disparate data sources. So you see a lot of sort of corporates, sort of mid-tiers, sort of starting to dabble with, instead of going with a whatever, like a NetSuite or a Pronto or something along those lines, they would rather have 15 zero files instead of going on one NetSuite. And then they've got their CRM system separately, and they've got all this. So it's kind of enabling the small micro businesses to get cloud enabled and be effective, and at the same time you get the bigger companies coming down and sort of taking up multiple cloud solutions. What that means though is that your data is in multiple places, and that's what Power BI and we sort of help out with as well.
I guess this is the opportunity that lies in front of you with this movement. So just an overview of today. We're going to give you just an introduction to business intelligence at a broad level, and the appeal and the comparisons on the market, which most of you I think will be aware of in the market. And then we've got 8 live demonstrations, because it's easier to show you things. If we show you live examples, it'll give you a real feel for what's possible. So Kev's got 4 and I've got 4 live examples to share with you today from a wide variety of data sources and different things that you can do. Hopefully it gives you a really good taste. And as Heather said at the start, please ask questions during and while we're there on that data source. Ask a question if it's relevant to that data source, and you have a question, just fire them through. So just as a feeling in the room, who here has heard of Power BI? Just heard of it? Is that everybody said? Is there anyone in the room who's actually using it? Right. So, I mean, should we head up the back for some drinks? Terrific, that's great, that's fantastic. So, you guys will get a really good feel for what's going on as well. So, position-wise in the market, this is from Gartner. Another one has just recently came out, even today. I don't know if you guys have seen it. And it's just talking about the dominance of Microsoft in this data analytics space. So that's 2018 down there in the bottom left, against its main rival, Tableau, who's just recently been taken out by Salesforce, for if anyone was aware of. And as you can see, just here now, January 2019, it's actually moving away from the pack. It's being recognised as a leader in this space. It's really, so I guess the point of showing this slide is just, it's the cream of the crop on the market. It really is.
And what this slide doesn't show, and maybe I'm generalising myself, everything South African and cheap, but there's no price comparison on there basically. Like that Tableau, which I've used at multiple companies before, is a couple $1,000s per user per year. It is better in certain situations, but for what we're talking about, you cannot compare for that price point. Like, it's amazing.
So, position-wise, I would have thought most of you in the room would have heard of Spotlight, Pixability, Fathom. There's probably 20 of them in the ecosystem, but these are like the top 3, I would suggest. So position-wise, this is a really good way of understanding what you use it for. You use it for creating dashboards and reports for your client base. I mean, so it's amazing that people don't quite understand that is what you do with it. It's a reporting tool like that. So think of these guys as an understanding of how you might use it with your client base, okay? But the appeal to me is twofold. This is the appeal for me, is one, that you can build anything. So Power BI is not a website. It is like Excel or Word, and you can have your templates, but you can rip it apart. And we're going to show you some examples of the custom nature of it, how you can actually change it to exactly what you want, which is always the case. Businesses are always have got their own differences and different little, or even in your accounting firm with your management reporting, you've got your own nuances. You've got your own way that you want your chart of accounts, or you want to compare it just last quarter, but then a quarter from before that. Or, everybody's got their own way of wanting to report, so it's really powerful to be able to deliver that. And then the other side is the data sources, isn't it, Kev?
Yeah, and this is not highlighting just the spotlight issue float, it's also just talking about sort of cookie cutter dashboards, your 9 spokes, your sites, your grow.coms. There's literally millions of them. Domo, for example. At the end of the day, when you've got flexibility about what data sources you can pull in, and when you've got flexibility in point 1 about what visuals you can create, I don't have a client yet, I wish I did, that wants the same thing. Like literally, there might be 3 similar sized accounting practices in Sydney, all roughly the same number of Xero subscriptions. They're all focusing on either scheduling or profitability or whatever. And sort of having that, bringing in whatever data sources they're using, and then the flexibility on the other side means that we can create exactly what they want, show, and more importantly, show a sort of slice of what they want to show to exactly that audience within their business. Create a dashboard specific to that audience to motivate them for their daily thing. Yeah.
Just a quick one. So how do you know which SaaS products will integrate with Power BI? Is there like a web page you go to, or?
Kev's about to run through the modes,
right.
which will answer exactly that.
Good job. Which is the right one. Intro. There's a few modes, and we'll go through them next. Yeah. You're right. Oh wow. So Kev's going to answer the question for you. So if we take it in specifically a Xero context, in terms of the ways to report or to connect Power BI to Xero data. The very first layer at the top, so there's kind of 3 layers, excuse my poor slide making abilities, is what we call the content packs. I know a couple of people today have already been learning about them. Bottom line is, they're basically a disservice to PowerBI.com and to Xero. It's a bit harsh to say that, but I know Cam feels exactly the same, if not stronger about it. This is when you go into PowerBI.com and you say get data, and you log in and you pull in your 1.0 file, and there we go, you've got some reports. The problem with it is that all your reports are pre-canned, you can't edit them, and you can't change any of the calculations or the data source itself, and you can't add any other data sources either. And it's not just Xero and Power BI, but this Power BI has done this with like almost every account.
Milo, QuickBooks, there's quite a few.
There's a big long list, Salesforce,
lots
all
of
the rest of
content
it.
packs.
So it's missing stuff like budgets, you said?
Budgets are missing, or just a date table to be able to decide how you want to slice your data, quarterly, financial year. It's just very limiting. And I think
graphs as well.
graphs. It does Power BI disservice. It actually puts accountants off because they think, well, it does. So
Yeah. My favorite group that, people say we're doing Power BI, but it's not really, it's great. What exactly are you doing? And we try and uncover exactly which steps they are. So then the second way, I would call it like a great way to do sort of discovery, development, new sort of figuring out stuff. It's something that you can do, without a programmer, basically, as well. And that's what you used to, which is exporting CSVs out of Xero, opening up Power BI Desktop, which is a free Windows application, coming back to that free thing again, and then actually visualizing what you want, and then publishing it up to PowerBI.com. What that means is you can share that website out, you can get other people to log in, you can actually look at visual financial management, etc. So, if you're working on something for a client and they've got maybe a crazy legacy system and Xero and some budgets and a spreadsheet, you can actually bring that all together in Power BI Desktop. You can actually visualize it, you can actually publish it up to PowerBI.com and show your clients, and they're like, gosh, that's cool, etc. And whatever, put your flavor on it. The problem with that is that, as we mentioned there, it's not scalable. Like with your financial management reports, the Excel health situation, you only do a certain amount once a month manually. So essentially, what we do with our syncing services, what Atani does as well, there's a bunch of other services out there as well, but the key point, the mechanism behind it, is that there are some custom written services that go to the APIs of the various systems that you use and put it into one place, which is a database for Power BI. And what that means is that when you open up Power BI Desktop, so I'm getting technical here, but I'm going to give it a go. When you open up Power BI Desktop, instead of importing an Excel file, you actually connect to that cloud database. What that means is when you publish your report up to the cloud, it's not working off of static files, it's actually working off of that cloud database. So as long as someone's updating that cloud database in the background, or Power BI, same, then everything's automated. And that's what we do. We make sure that everything we do is 100% automated, because otherwise we can't scale, and otherwise we're going to make mistakes. Pretty much anything. I probably broke all the rules there. I didn't mention direct query though. So does that sort of make sense? You want to run over that again?
Just in answer to your question, what data sources can you put in?
Oh, yeah.
You can put anything in there. It's designed to take data, but there's different levels of the way you can take data. So if there's not an API that you can find, or you don't want to pay for a developer to build that data source, then you can always just data dump, and which is not unreasonable to data dump out of the program by CSV, and
you can automate that.
well, yeah, it's just drag and drop. Yeah. So once a week, you just have one of your admin staff who exports that data source and puts it onto a SharePoint or wherever it might be, and you still get that. It's not live, and it's still that manual task, but it's a 2-minute job to do that each week.
So a lot of these systems that you've got in your slide there, I don't know, they seem to, I live in the e-commerce space, and a lot of them just seem to have like a widget or a left-hand toolbar, and you pay an extra $10 a month and they'll then integrate with Xero, for example. Does that mean you've got to pay to access their API, or is that just a clever way of, is the API actually really free? But I get confused with that.
It depends on the company, but I would say 99% of APIs are free.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
So it depends. I guess they're getting you to pay for the same reason you pay for a Shopify fee.
Yeah.
SaaS product essentially. So that's the key of it really is how
so
much
you can
time
go into the back door and connect right into the API, the free bit.
Yeah. Any questions on that?
Just thinking in real time, is that being done out of the desktop with Power BI or the online version?
Not really either. It's kind of a separate process, really, where you've got to get the data out of the APIs somehow. So, in my instance, we build services that run in the background and pull whatever data you need out of there and push it into either Power BI or a database kind of thing, and take that manual exporting load off of yourself.
You would never visualize reports in Power BI Desktop. You would build something, and once you're happy with it, you'd send it up to the cloud and consume it in the cloud, and that's where the live data flows through from the cloud, not down at desktop level. Desktop level is where you can manipulate things, and you go, I'm happy with that, up it goes.
You got an example of desktop?
Yeah, I've got an example of that.
You can visualize the building templates down in the desktop and all that to the cloud.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Fully automated.
So use cases from an accounting perspective, I just think this is really important to point this out, because there's the management reporting, which you've always done, the budget, the actual variance analysis, KPIs, maybe it's debtor days, things like that. I think that's where the accountant fits in really well with Power BI, the scalability of designing something custom and scaling it across your client base, that management reporting. And then the custom client reporting is where people like Kev step in and you can reach out to them. And this is when you've got bigger clients that aren't just on Xero and they want to talk to their social media data sources and their marketing functions and their operational data. And that's where you need a BI specialist. But the point is you've got everything under the one hood and you're in charge of Power BI for all your different reporting capabilities for your client base. And Kev can come in and really help you with that. There's people out there that can do that. So I just wanted to point that out, that there is a skill difference here with BI specialists and then accountants using Power BI on a management reporting level. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah, right. So I think we're live demonstration time. So live demos, I'm going to start with I think this is the most popular thing that happens in accounting firms is variance analysis budget, the actual quarterly normally.
Kevin, I can move that thing if you want.
So I'm just going to minimise this and see.
Standy thing, I can move it if you want.
Okay. So for anyone that's in practice, what's on the screen is an Excel budget, the actual document, and this would be pretty standard in an accounting firm. Is you have your instruction sheet of how you do it, and so you get to the end of the month, the end of the quarter, and you would data dump out of Xero, Maya, QuickBooks, or maybe you're in XBA, you might even dump out of XBA for clients that don't have the proper accounting software. But this would be a way that they would go about it. And the presentation is pretty standard. Budget the actual on a monthly or quarterly basis, and this is the way it's done. You have fee lookups for anyone who's aware of them, and we just data dump that data in here. And this is normally like a half an hour to an hour task each month or each quarter that the junior accountant would do. So I reckon this is a great first project for an accounting firm. Let's get rid of this. I mean, let's get rid of data integrity issues, because guess what? This always causes data integrity, because a new account code comes onto the equation in Xero, and it just blows the whole system up. Like you're not correctly allocating the sums down or whatever. So twofold on this is one, data integrity, two, efficiency. No more of that half an hour of WIP on your accounting staff clock. So I'll show you the difference here.
And that's visibility as well. And also, you know, the person who knows the spreadsheet inside and out, they're on holiday, then you're not bothered. So there's a bunch of automation benefits there as well.
So here's the equivalent in Power BI, which is, I mean, it's the same thing. You got your account codes, you got your month, and it's flowing in from a Xero budget manager or a MyOb or a QuickBooks. They've all got budget manager capabilities in them, and they've all got actuals flowing through. So come June, we select June, okay? And everything updates. Like that's the power of this, is that it's just an immediate rollover. I'm sure the internet's dropped out now. This normally just happens instantly, by the way. So it's not, we might have to change over to my personal hotspot if that's not going to go wrong at the moment. It's ruined my immediacy of how cool this is.
I know you sort of prove it.
Hey, it's worked.
We're coming through? Okay, we're coming through.
This does not go well for mine.
We'll just stick with this and see if we can change the personal spot. But the point is, with what I'm just pointing out there, is that was your quarterly or monthly rollover. We just selected the next month. And as long as you've got your budget in Xero or MyOb or QuickBooks and live data's flowing through, we've rolled over. Which, you know, so often you would data dump and then you go, oh, we need to change something in the Xero file, so you go back and data dump again. Well, not here, you just refresh the data and away you go again. Like, it's really efficient way of going about it. You can see the scalability here with doing this. But most importantly, I just wanted to share with you, see how we go with the internet, but being able to design what you want. So see here, I've got 2 quarters ago, but maybe instead of 2 quarters ago, we want to do last year, as in June last year. Okay, so let's drag in June last year. So we'll drag in total last year and that one, and we get rid of that. We're not going to look at 2 quarters ago anymore. We're going to look at that one. So see how that's just updated now? So now all of a sudden we're looking at, on the left there, June, but then June last year as well. So this is like the power of designing these management reports how you want them. Just a quick couple of other examples is year to date. Is the traffic light layout is really popular as well. So here's this variance analysis with greens and oranges and reds. It quickly identifies problem account codes that are not running to plan. So I like the color coding. Especially if it's a bigger client that's consolidated, you can quickly find where there's reds or green issues. And percentage of revenue, that's another really popular thing that you'll see with budget the actual analysis. You want a percentage of maybe wages or percentage of something, just to give you a bit of reference on how you're tracking. So that's my first demo on budget the actual. I'm going to pass it across to Kev now, unless anyone has any questions on the budget the actual. I just wanted to point out hopefully you picked up there's data integrity improvements, but also efficiencies, like how quickly you can scale it and be really efficient. I hope that's come across.
Yes. Hands in top.
Oh, there was a question at the back there, was there?
Yeah, I mean, do all of those tables come immediately from zero, or what's the process of creating? Just a little bit about the process of creating that.
So that will just feed in. So one part of the Zero API, for example, has your accounts.
Okay.
So if a new account comes in, it's not like you miss it. It's sucking up all the accounts.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be missing them. So
But the other tables are listed there.
On the right side, the fields?
On the right-hand side.
yep.
The fields.
Are they created before and then sort of added into the model?
So they're called measures, which is like Excel formula language. And I've got my next example, I'll show you how they work. But essentially, the total is equal to summing up your invoice table. I mean, that's really what it's doing, and then slicing it by the time period that you allocate. So I've got a great example with the next one on how that measure actually calculates itself. It's quite intuitive. As an accountant, it works just like Excel formula, but I'll share that with you next.
Little knowledge tip or know-how kind of thing. So this is Power BI Desktop, and online on PowerBI.com, you can actually go to edit report and actually do what Cam was doing here. It's 90% of the functionality is there. You can drag around, you can change visuals, you can duplicate pages, you can do amazing amounts of functionality on the online version. All you really need to use desktop for is when you're creating these measures on the side, which are like the calculations, the formulas and stuff. That's when you use the desktop version. Otherwise, if everything's set up for you, then the online version is good to go, basically. Alright, so I think we'll probably just do this one. So I guess this is probably more around the story. So this is created for an accounting firm in Brisbane came to me and said, hey, we're selling some advisory to our client. They're a law firm on Eagle Street, we're not a big one, they don't do timesheets, that's why we get on so well. And bottom line is they have an issue with their debtors. This is on live data, we refresh hourly, but we've made the numbers way different to what they actually are. And the whole goal here, unfortunately, is the first of the month, so it's not terribly impressive, but the whole point is that they really just want to focus on their debtors, their collections, their billables, and we've since added Pipedrive, i.e. to focus on their deal side. So it's never just a one-off thing, it's always producing something and then feedback and then saying, oh, we'd love to add this and this and this. And so that's why it's a really great thing to, I don't know, it's like it's never a project. It's almost an extension of your relationship with a client that you already have. You're kind of doing their books and their tax. Next thing, hey, what data are you using? Hey, this is what we think you should be tracking. Hey, that's working well. What else should we be tracking? It's almost like a natural extension of what you could be offering as a service. And yeah, at the end of the day, we do little tricks, which is, they quite like the historical stuff at the bottom so that they get a feeling of achievements up and to the right is what it's called. But the real thing is to just focus on a few numbers. So the main thing here is, based on their target, that's the target. Today they should have done $5,000. Basically, they know that they're $5,000 behind for where they should be in the month. So this is up in the office, and they know that bottom line is all they really need to be focused on is these two big numbers kind of thing. And that's kind of what.
There's a good time to go dashboard versus report.
Yeah, like a dashboard is kind of your high-level summaries where it's fully automated. Just leave it up somewhere. The numbers refresh by themselves, and then what you can do is you can actually click on a particular tile, and then go down and drill down to the underlying report, where you'll have a lot more filters, where you can actually go and then do some more analysis and in-depth sort of investigation, whatever your sort of.
It's easy enough to pull out a few tiles to share with the team, keep that stuff confidential.
Yeah, there's a bunch of ways to do that. One is through Power BI licenses. You can share certain dashboards with certain individuals. We have a different approach where we sort of create different email addresses for different parts of the business and just upload it there and just segregate it that way. We find it's less admin, plus you don't have to pay the fees, going back to the cheap thing again. But yeah, there's a bunch of ways to do that. Cam's got his own way of doing that as well, just like that as well.
So I guess that high level, that's why I say dashboards belong on a mobile phone, because that 5.62K is really powerful to view on your phone, on the go. Where are you at across the month? Bang. We're no longer looking at it at the end of the month, we're looking at it at all times, trying to follow where we're at. But then you click on it to the report and you can actually find what that 5.62's breakdown is to get more answers, if that makes sense. That's when you turn to desktop. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's a new little demonstration that I'm trying where we're going to everyone take it easy. We're going to geek out a little bit. I want to show you what's under the hood, like just because it's easy to show you flashy reports, but I just wanted to show you just at basic level how the calculations work, and so then you go, right, I get how I have the power to build what I want then, if that makes sense. So the best way to do that is to do the comparison of Power BI versus Excel, because you guys all know Excel and how you use it, so Excel formula versus Power BI, that's what I want to show you, okay? So this is, if I bring it up on the screen, this is a pretty standard Excel layout of invoices or line items, okay? So we all know how to do this. How do we go about getting the outcome we want? It's pretty easy. We do equals quantity times by your price equals, and then come down here to, so we'll just drag that a little bit down. We do the calculation across all the data. So everyone's with me? and then equals, sum it up. So we sum up our sales, right? Close off the bracket, and we've got $2,080 in sales. Okay, so pretty easy how we do that. I just want to show you the exact same calculation in Power BI, and so that you get a taste of how it works. Okay, so if we come across in Power BI, so excuse me. Sorry, I didn't have that open. Just let that open up. So exact difference. We're still going to have. In Power BI, we're still going to have our invoice table, so same rows that we've just seen in Excel, okay? But it's just slightly done differently, but hopefully you can appreciate the power of having it done this way. So I'll just show you the invoice table, just so that you're familiar with what's going on.
Power BI Desktop is actually 6 years worth of Excel, Power Pivot, Power Query, all of that just bundled under a new sort of skin. They've obviously added a whole bunch of stuff and made it all cool. But you know, the core of it is, it hasn't changed in quite a long time, so it should be an easy progression.
So this is what I just showed you in Excel. It's just in Power BI. It's just those invoice line items, okay? So you've got your unit amount and your quantity, right? So it's the invoice table that holds that. So we're going to do the exact same calculation in Power BI. So this is what I was touching on, I was going to share with you, is the way this is done. So we're going to write a measure to do that Excel formula, okay? So you've got a new measure, and we're going to call it total sales equals, sum it up. So hopefully, I'm not sure if you guys can see this on the screen, is it close enough, but this is the intuitiveness of Power BI. It's a bit like Excel. It's not only is it telling you the available tables that you have in your data source, but it's also telling you how the formula is written to help you. So what are we summing up? We're summing up the invoice table, okay? And what are we doing in the invoice table? Sorry, just give my spelling. Invoices. Invoices, we're summing up the unit amount times by invoices times by the quantity. Okay, so close off the bracket, and that's done. So that's exactly the same formula that what we just did in Excel, correct? If I press enter, it creates that measure, and what I can do then is drag this onto the page, make it a nice, friendly little, I don't know, make it one of these cards to make it look good. We've got one of these. So 1.71 million, okay? So basically what it's done is it's gone to that invoice table and every single invoice in there, just done that calculation for you, okay? So the same thing, but what that does now is, if I just open up the table, so what I've done here is I've just grabbed the daily dates, and now I'm going to use that same measure, total sales, and drag it in there. So now, So you can see in the bottom there, 1.71 million, still the same sale, but now we've got a breakdown on a daily basis, okay? So same calculation, same measure. We can literally keep going with this. If I go copy paste and put this over here, and I'm going to grab instead my account codes, which, I mean, account codes is a great way of looking at this visualization. Is we drag the account name in there, delete that date out. Okay, so now same formula. Keep getting that away, sorry. Same formula. See, 1.71 million of sales, but now we've got a breakdown by account code. So this is the power and flexibility of how quickly you can slice things up. Same sort of concept as Excel, but you can imagine if we go back to Excel there, that's what's called cell-based referencing. That's the only real difference. C9 times D9. I mean, that's the exact cell rather than going by the column, which opens up an amazing amount of flexibility with how you can slice your data. So I didn't mean to gig out on you too much, guys, but we are accountants, and I mean that is really the nuts and bolts of what's going on under the scene and why you can really have that flexibility. I hope that came across with what I'm trying to explain, how you can design what you want now and make it behave how you want. It's Excel formula language, just slightly different. Okay, cool.
I have 2 questions. First question, which is the big question, do you need more beer? Second question is from the internet. I tried to connect Power BI with QBO, QuickBooks Online, but couldn't connect with an Australian postcode. Have you had any experience or issues like that?
I guess that would come down to the 3 modes of Power BI. I suspect that they're using the content pack, which means the moment you try and connect QuickBooks Online to the content pack, you lose all flexibility, you can't slice by certain things.
So the Australian postcode, is she having to give her details when she does that connection?
So QuickBooks Online's got a contact table, and one of the columns is postcodes. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to slice by postcode.
Sounds like maybe she was signing up for something different, doesn't it?
Just trying to sign up.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe you're trying to sign up for something different.
That's like hooking up the content packs and going into powerbi.com and selecting QuickBooks and stuff. Personally, I've only done the 0-1. I've not done QuickBooks one.
Or data. Data depends what the postcode is. She's syncing an Australian versus UK. Usually changes over from string to.
Does it cause a problem in Power BI?
Well, UK postcodes are string based as well as numerical.
Yeah.
So depending on what she's importing, that's one of her area. Postcode.
So the mapping system in Power BI is obviously Bing, not Google, and
obviously,
and they might not be able to
cope with it.
pick up. Yeah.
Oh, that's something, a nuance.
Okay, just step back and ask a question from
Absolutely.
Instead of not using the content packs, your options are to use CSVs. You go via a CSV, but it's not scalable because you realise that you're updates and you're not getting the benefit of live. Instead, if you want to go to the next level where you've got the live updates and scalability, you don't use you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bottom line is all hire a software developer that can pull data from APIs, keep it reliably flowing into the correct consolidated format in the cloud database, and then go from there.
As a catch, we do look at it out really good what you're saying.
Yeah, there's good touch on the definition of self-service analytics really. So that's what we're talking about, whether it comes in quick size Power BI or whatever. To open up Power BI desktop and have the ability to create your measures and your calculations and publish it up and give it to non-technical users who can then just go and drag fields on and stuff. That's self-service analytics, that's brilliant. All the rest of it. What it fails at is data consolidation, is pulling data nicely and properly. That's what it kind of hasn't got to. It probably will.
As a catch, we can sort of give it a taste of it. And the logic could look like and say, hey, we can take this up on another level for you, but we need to bring it down.
Exactly. So this isn't pretty. It's not really about what's going on here. This is 2 important things here. One is that this came from an accounting firm that just got bought by the CEO. But the point is their client is mainly on a system that can only email out data every half an hour. There's no API, you can't access the database, all the rest of it. Some of the data comes from Xero, some of the data comes from targets and Google Sheets, and some of the data comes from emails that we parse out. And we're able to turn that all into we take away the hard work, so it's something like a cell, but whatever. We make all that like sort of extra effort of collating those 3 different sources and putting them in a cloud database every half an hour seamless, so that this dashboard can be used by the business. And bottom line is it's a national removal business, and essentially according to the quote here, it's all running very well. I look several times a day and use it as my biggest tool for competition in the office. So it's not pretty, it's not, following the dashboard principles of just a few things. They only really care about this table down here, to be perfectly honest. And that is, for each salesperson, how much of their selling compares to each other. And so, it's true. You could call it like a KPI leaderboard or something fancy if you wanted to, but at the end of the day, we've made sure that, instead of them drawing a PDF report at the end of the day and then blah, 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 they literally have it on each of their machines and they all compete, I guess, whatever salespeople do. But yeah, I guess that's a good point. So the second point is like, there is that, we all know the spotlights and features and that's sort of checkbox management reporting that you get that, me as a business owner, I get that from my accountant once a quarter and I look at it and, it's great. There you can use Power BI to replace that and put your own flavor on it and fully automate it and then use it as a tool to then extend it to either your more valuable clients or you can choose a particular niche such as e-commerce and build a sort of template in that area and then push it out to your clients along that way. So really, really flexible. That's it.
Oh, someone unplugged the thing.
So is there anyone who's using Workflow Max or a practice manager? Okay, so I wanted to show you an example of reporting. Who here that uses Workflow Max is frustrated with the reporting that's coming out of it? You can't quite get what you're after. So this is just an example of how you can use Power BI to get the reporting you're after. So if I just jump across and open up the Workflow Max example. So coming up, we're all good. So just a couple of the ways that you can look at Workflow Max. This is just a basic high-level sales coming in the door, and people like to look at that at a partner level and also at a manager level, just as a split of the fees that are coming in at a project level. So that's quite a high level. Here you can put total sales last year as a variance. You could also put your budget there instead. There's a couple of ways to look at it. But the power is underneath the hood, so I'll show you some of these. This is an example of timesheets, okay? So chargeable hours versus non-chargeable hours and your productivity. So what we do is we remove annual leave out of the equation for your non-chargeable and we get a true reflection of your chargeables. You can go into a breakdown of all your timesheets and what clients you've been posting them against. So this is a popular way of trying to analyze things. Another very popular one to look at is sales analysis. Sales by, here we go. So what this one here is, it's looking at the 2019 financial year and the invoices raised. So total sales is invoices raised by client group, okay? But you've also got chargeable hours and an average charge out rate. Every accounting firm has got their own way that they like to report on things. This is a new way that I'm seeing people are really interested in, is job turnaround time and an average charge out rate. So let's not go to the individual and blast the individual for not performing. Let's be a team and see how we're performing at a team level. For an average charge out rate is a really great way of looking at that. But the point is then we can actually say, okay, here's Amazon. So let's drill down into Amazon. And Amazon's got several different clients. So the Amazon Limited company is the one that's got all the work in it. So here's all your jobs for that period. So if we have a look at perhaps this bigger job here, 02220, we get down to the hood of where everything's happening. So Samantha Ryan has got 37 of the hours to do with that job. And so possibly it was a bad job, or maybe she wasn't efficient enough. It's identifying where some of your problem areas are at, if that makes sense. So very powerful to quickly slice things up, and as you can see up in the top left-hand corner, you can search by job ID or client name or employee name. We can quickly slice this report apart and get answers and go searching for where you want to be looking at. I think you also you mentioned earlier about reporting and like segmenting your client, like your employees, or segmenting your clients. So that might be an idea here with this timesheet. If we go to Peter Parker, for example, and select Peter Parker. So what we can do with Peter Parker, here's his performance, and we can actually say, okay, let's create a Peter Parker dashboard. Okay, so we're going to pin his chargeable hours to a new dashboard. So Peter Parker dashboard. Okay, so we're going to pin his chargeable hours to that one. We're also going to pin his non-chargeable. Go to that same dashboard, this Peter Parker, and we're also going to pin this high level. You might want to even go into more detail with what you're pinning, but essentially we just pin these items to a dashboard. Okay, so here's Peter Parker's dashboard now. And we open it up, bring him down here to make it. You can make it a really pretty name. But the point is now this dashboard belongs to just Peter Parker, so we can segment who sees this dashboard. We only want Peter Parker to see this dashboard, and that's his way of, always being aware of where he's at and how his performance is going. Clear segmentation of your employees, or if you want to use this for clients as well, if that makes sense. So quite powerful to be able to have that live data flowing through and slicing it by employee performance. Very popular way of doing it across accounting firms, particularly with workflow maps. Cool. Any questions on that one?
Next, I'm going to close. I'll fess up. It's actually just a screenshot of a dashboard, on a dashboard. But there's 2 important parts. One is it's actually an XPM example as well, but it's to do with the fact that it's XPM. If you're a business, what kind of reports you want to be creating? Sorry, it's in the dashboards. The kind of reports you want to be creating are the ones that drive engagement, i.e., people are looking at them every day. So you want to not just do the sort of descriptive reporting. You want to figure out what are the lead indicators, what are the things that your particular staff member needs to focus on in order to achieve their job better. And when you provide that sort of reporting via a dashboard, then as a business owner you're happy, as a staff member you're happy because you know what you want to do, and that's from a business perspective, that's great. From providing it as a service, and you want to, let's be honest, be profitable out of the service, you want to charge for it, and at the end of the day, people will be happy to pay for it. Then it's about making sure that you provide dashboards that people engage with every day. If you provide them reports once a quarter, there's not much value in that. If you're providing them reports that they're looking at every day, there's value in that, and then you can actually charge appropriately for it, and then everyone's happy. It's win-win kind of thing. So in this case, it is an XPM dashboard. I wouldn't focus too much on it. To be honest, it's all down to the operations manager of this accounting firm, who is like a military general. He's amazing with accounting. With all service-based businesses, it's not great to with accounting. Another one. How are we doing for time? Yeah, last one. This is really powerful. We've done a couple of these now. This is based on a system called the Seller. And essentially what we're doing here, this one, is we're actually combining forecasted sales. So they put, a deal gets entered into their CRM. They put on a project, an expected start date and expected end date. We take that value for the sale and we actually extrapolate it out. We take their fixed price projects and we do the same sort of thing. We know, the start and end date of that project and how much they're going to get. So we divide that by each amount a day. And with their T&M projects, we know when their milestones and tasks and how much their budgeted time along there. So we add that to the mix. And then finally, we take their outstanding invoices as well. This company only started in July, so kind of ignore that part and all the rest of it. But in one snapshot, their management team can actually say, how much money are we getting from all our different revenue streams in one go.
That's amazing, because we had big issues with XPM, because we had practice edition, so we had a whole bunch of clients on paying monthly, and some pay 50% up front, 50% at the end, and some pay in arrears, and that sort of thing was on.
Text method.
Yeah, it does, but it's brilliant, it's there, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. If you understand your operations and you're in control of it and make people stick to them, then you can use data to methodology.
That would also back into workflow, wouldn't it? So, like, you would have a workflow function that you could do similar, so they know when projects are hit and then how much extra consultants or whatever they might need at a certain time.
Yeah, it's like a scheduling kind of thing. The previous dashboard actually had like the numbers at the top were like jobs ready to go, jobs that still need info, all that sort of stuff. Kind of thing. So at the end of the day, if your data is good, if your processes are good, then the tools are there.
This can work like you say as well.
Okay, so last example coming through is this is something new that's just recently come up. An accounting firm that we work with, they said, we've got all their clients in the system. Can we have a bird's eye view of them all? And so that we can just log in each morning and know where our client base is at. I mean, which seems like it just blew my mind. I was like, yeah, you can do that.
That's very exciting.
And so that's basically where this bird's eye view concept came up, where it's quite incredible that you as an accounting firm can log in and look at your entire client base, maybe as they approach the end of month budget, and you can see who you need to call, who's having problems, who's doing really well, who might have cash flow problems that are identified. I mean, you imagine doing this without a tool like Power BI where you've got a consolidated view of your client base. You have to go into each file and be looking at them. It's really difficult, as opposed to being able to have everything together. You can really be on top of your client base, and I think that it's a really powerful upsell that you can feel, the client can feel really comfortable. I don't know about you guys, but that's only new, and that really just blew my mind. I thought it was really cool, the bird's eye view. So I just wanted to share that with you as a concept of because we talk about consolidation for your client base, but this is the ultimate of consolidation. It's your whole client base in one view, which is quite powerful. Yeah. Yeah. Budget reaction.
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm not getting with friends.
So my last example is getting back to the core of what we were here for, about the title of scaling this stuff, because I think it's really important to be able to say, we need to identify that this is your SME, this is your SME market. So you can't just go off and spend $10,000 or $15,000 on a project for them. You need to be thinking about how you can scale this stuff to make it profitable for your firm. So I just wanted to show you the custom nature of how you can scale this. So here's a template, right? But I'll just show you how you can rip it apart. So I'm going to delete the net profit off the view, and I'm going to drag this across, okay, to make that view like that. I'm also just going to copy paste this. This is just the custom nature. I want to show you, we're looking at it quarterly, but let's maybe look at tracking categories in Xero, which is a popular thing to do. So we can come down to our tracking categories and drag in the option names into there, okay? So now when that loads, now we've got tracking categories, New South Wales, Queensland. That's a popular thing to use is with tracking categories is to go by state performance-wise. So here we have, let's just assume that we've spent 15, 20 minutes designing a custom report for a client, okay? But the power with what you can do with Power BI now is we can go to our client list, okay? And I've only got 2 in the system, unfortunately. We've got test client 19 and this old man online clothing. But we can grab test client 19, okay, and load it. So what this is doing is that same report that you've done this design for, now it's keeping the same layout, but now we just point from test client old man online clothing to 105. Now we're looking at a totally different 05. But what's happening is that's happened what, in 20 seconds? 20 seconds, and we've got a brand new client in the system with that custom design that you've done. So you can see there's different tracking categories up there, far, far away, and New Mexico, whatever it might be. Enormously powerful to be able to design it how you want it and then scale it across 30 clients like within half an hour to an hour time frame. Really, really powerful. So I think that goes back to the heading of how do you scale this stuff? That's enormously powerful how you can scale that. Custom views and scale it across all your clients. So I wanted to share that with you. Cool. So is that the end of the line? So, okay, cool. Yeah. So just closing out, come back here. So what does success look like? I mean, I think it's an analytics arm. So monthly recurring, sticky and passive. I think it opens up so many different service offerings. Business coaching is a classic example of this opening up a service offering for you. You could niche in Simpro. So you choose Simpro and you say, I'm going to look after tradies. And you design a custom report for your tradies and then you scale it across, say you picked up 10 tradies. You can have these business coaching meetings with tradies, and that is what you're known for. Or maybe it's real estate, or maybe it's e-commerce. Like you've got all your different niche areas that you can specialize in, have your custom reports that you push across, and then monthly meetings are no longer stressful with the data prep because it's ready. You rock up to your meeting and you have your conversation on the new monthly data or new quarterly data. So I think an analytics arm really does open up that type of service offering, which is quite powerful. I've also put in their custom client reporting. You can reach out to people like Kev to help with your larger clients that you don't maybe have the capabilities to handle. But you've got all your service offerings under the one hood, which is really powerful.
I think one of the main things, coming back to profitability, is that monthly recurring. Like at the very base of it, if you say, somebody is, whether it's within your own accounting firm or whether it's within one of your clients, if they're spending 2 to 3 days drawing up these manual reports once a month, if you can automate that at the click of a button, which is completely possible, what is that worth to you, Mr. Customer? What is that worth to us? And just starting with that, that's the tangible benefit. Then you get to the intangible benefits around, well, it's every day and we can do this and we can do that on top of it as well. So, but coming back to that original case, we can replace what you're doing right now. What's that worth to you?
Are there Power BI templates for sale? It's a cheeky question, but back to the comparisons with data and Spotlight and all of the Futurely, all of the extremely expensive subscriptions on offer. I mean, is someone out there selling a kit that would replicate that KPI if you bolted into a zero file?
That's my knowledge.
Because
I'm not
what you're
sure I
showing
totally understand your question.
Well, what you're showing me basically is kind of like the old Excel days without EBC connection and pivot tables, right? But it's just a really cool, sexy way to move things around and update and have a shared portal, right? So what's to stop someone from looking at what, say, Spotlight does generically and just designing that inside of Power BI and then maybe selling it for $100 just flat, and then you overlay that on your new client zero file, for example. I mean, are those sorts of dodgy operators out there already?
Not that I'm not associated with it.
But it doesn't sound hard, does it? Really? I mean, it might take someone 30 or 40 hours to replicate what's been done in those packages. But then, if you sold it to 1,000 people,
I think that there's two key points. One, you'll probably find when you take that pre-packaged thing that you want to sell to 1,000 people and you give it to 1,000 people, they'll be like, yeah, that's great, but that's not quite workable. That's where the sort of there is that balance, whether it's a SaaS product that does your inventory or a bespoke thing that does your inventory. You know what I mean? It's like, why do we pay whatever $10 a month for a widget dashboard, which will give us our sales in year and our revenue in zero? But why do people use it? Why is the churn of those dashboards so high? Because it's great, but it's not relevant. It doesn't actually tell me what I need to know for that stage of my business and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's definitely possible. And that
at a broader level, like that, I am seeing that happening. Like, so a business coach lady that I'm aware of, she has like 10 different accounting firms that she works with, and she's basically their analytics person. So she just runs it for them, runs the show. She charges a monthly fee to handle those services offerings for them, and I think that's a really new, interesting profession to carry. Is for the accounting firms that aren't willing to invest in the skill set, but they still want it to be supplied to them. Like, and for this and this and this. So what successful firms implementing BI are doing, these are just some of the observations that I've seen. Charging a monthly fee and scaling custom work. So I think productization works really well. I know there's a debate about productization. I think it works really well. I encourage that in the business advisory area. I think it's the way that you can really scale this and make it a profitable system service. Setting goals. So I think on my first example that I showed you, that was the moving all your Excel budget, the actuals, to Power BI. That would be a great first goal. To turn this service into a profitable service for your firm, and it's setting like a first step as you move forward. A champion, so the champion is normally around the sort of senior accountant to manager level. You've got to have a champion. I think things don't work very well when the partner decides to get behind this wheel. Because their eyes light up that they'd love to be doing it, but we need to be aware that they just don't have the time. They're running the business. So you need to have a champion. And lastly, I just put there that you've got to allocate WIP to them. Don't tell them that they're going to champion your Power BI movement, but then they've still got to make their budgets. Well, that's not fair. You need to allocate time for them to be able to build this out and make it work. So this is 4 little observations. I don't know if you've had any observations, Kev.
Yeah, there's a few different models. One is sort of a bigger accounting firm having an internal BI specialist who does most of it, and then we sort of wholesale data for bigger ones. That's just one model. The main thing around success is when you're choosing a client is 2 things. One, are they data driven? So are they already cobbling together spreadsheets? Then they know the pain and they're willing to pay for it. And the second thing we touched on twice there, which is are they willing to allocate time to it? You know, are they working on their business or are they working in their business? So it's not about revenue bands, it's just literally those 2 things. Hey, are you cobbling together spreadsheets? Are you in spreadsheet hell? Yes, you are. Do you have time to improve your business? Yes, you do. When those 2 things are in place, then you can offer a service.
So next steps that I've put in place, there's signing up to online Power BI training yourself. So I've just put up the Enterprise DNA, and there's lots of them out there. Abby's sitting at Enterprise DNA are 2 very popular ones on the market that have a free tier that you can immediately start learning and following it. YouTube's another classic example. I mean, there's loads of content out there on Power BI. Bringing in a professional trainer for your firm is another option. In-house training. So the Atani platform that we have, you can sign up to a 30-day trial, and we offer online Power BI training. So we've got about 20 hours of online training on how you actually get going with Power BI, particularly in the management reporting side, not in the custom client reporting like what Kev does, just management reporting. We've got a whole infrastructure. So there's a couple of some next steps that you might look at. And we've come to the conclusion. So yeah, I mean, that's all from us. Did you guys have any further questions? I know you can ask some questions as we go along, but was there any other questions on anyone wanted to ask?
Got a couple. Who owns the data?
Good question.
When the client relationship breaks down, does Castle have access to all their stuff?
No, they don't. I mean, it's their data, but I mean, this is actually quite a powerful stickiness mechanism behind it. Is that yes, they leave, then the data no longer belongs to you, and you can't use it, and the reports are no longer valid. But they can't take that IP that you've developed either, if that makes sense. So there's quite a bit of IP behind. If you spend 3 hours developing some custom reports for a client, if they go to another accounting firm, they need to understand that they're not bringing those reports with them. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's actually a really, really good upside to this service, and people have asked that before. I think that's really powerful because there's an expression that all accounting firms will eventually have the same technology in their firms. Well, that's not true with this. If you are a year in front with this stuff and you've developed, say you've started to specialise in real estate or whatever it might be, that is 1 year in front. The accounting firm can get a hold of the software, but the development of the custom designs that you come up with and stuff, that is your IP, and that's enormously powerful to carry that.
How do you help accounting firms with your business?
Sorry.
How do you help accounting firms with your business? Help accounting firms with specifically?
Uh,
I'm sort of inviting you to pitch here.
Fancy, I've got a slide on it. So, I mean, we just try and help with those blockades that prevented you from getting access to this. So, click and point live data. So, you just say, this is the client from Xero, QuickBooks, here, whatever data source it might be. Live data flows in for you. Down below as well, we also give you that base template. So, under Xero's template infrastructure, we've got cash flow flowing through, customer templates, debtor days, that budget, the actual analysis that we showed you. So those templates just get you straight in the game where you can rip things apart. We've got this online training platform to teach you how to use it, that you can consume at your own leisure. And then the distribution, so you get your own custom mobile application, accounting firm mobile application to distribute. You don't really want clients in Power BI. You really want to avoid that if you can. It can get quite expensive with that because every client costs $12.70 per pro user. It doesn't sound like much, $12.70 per user, but if you consider a CEO and a bookkeeper and 5 people from one user, and unless you want them to have the one view, that's $60 or $70 a month. It can quickly scale up and be very expensive.
How does it work commercially? Should we be accounting for?
It's a software solution that we offer the software on a SaaS model, so you pay a monthly fee and you can walk whenever you like.
So if we're interested as a firm in engaging you, just give you a call on my channel.
Yeah, you can get set up with that 30-day trial, and if you don't like it, you can walk away. I mean, I guess you can walk away at any stage anyway. But, the beauty of this is once you go down the Power BI path, you get pretty hooked on it, pretty custom nature of it. Any other questions, guys?
Thank you so much, Cameron and Kevin. That was a sensational presentation. I think we all see how quickly you could drink beer. We've got video recording of it now. Thank you so much for the talk. I think it's absolutely the way that many accounting firms are going and need to go and need to be aware of. And I really like the idea of having a champion, which is something I always talk about. But also the fact that this champion can actually go out and just be the gig's the champion in this sort of particular area. It's very exciting. So now we have more drinks and pizza. Hot pizza has arrived, so feel free to come back, join, spend some more time talking with Cameron and Kevin. And I will remind you a next event. Sign up for the next event quickly. It'll get sold out. It'll go very quickly. And please sign up to the newsletter at heathersmithau.com. Send me an email if you've got any queries about anything. If you're interested in presenting on accounting technology, let me know and we can sort something out. Also take the opportunity to speak to Aaron from Expert. He's not often up here in Brisbane. He might be, I don't know. But he's here now, so if you are a Xero user, take the opportunity to speak to him. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.